Welcome to the Shootin' Show. Stand by for shots fired.
Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, and welcome again to this week's Shootin' Show. We have another great show for you. I know you're going to enjoy it. We appreciate so much everyone being with us. We're so happy to be here, and now some good news. Friends, the Shootin' Show is now going to be coming to you nationwide 5 times a week. Yes, indeed, 5 times a week. We're going to continue with our Thursday night broadcast for you satellite viewers, just like we are tonight. But also, we've been picked up by the Outdoor Channel. Now, the Outdoor Channel, the satellite coordinates are F2, Channel 3. Again, F2, Channel 3. We're going to be on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be on Saturdays at 10 o'clock in the evening Eastern Time, and Sundays 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, we're going to continue our regular Thursday night broadcast, certainly. But friends, this gives us a wonderful opportunity to reach so many more people who desperately need proper information about firearms. They need to know where we stand as normal Americans who are gun enthusiasts. And let me tell you what, friends, this is a job that cannot be done soon enough. You know, friends, it is so important for us to realize that we're not dealing with rational people. The anti-gun crowd in Washington and other places around the country, they're not rational. They're out of touch with reality. And the way to deal with them is, you know, there comes a point when negotiation ceases to be effective. And what we have to do, they've got to be stopped. We literally have to vote these people out of office. Right now, we've got to contact our U.S. representatives, our senators especially now. By the time this airs, the House may have already voted on the Brady bill. And this is ridiculous. It does absolutely nothing. It only penalizes those of us who are law-abiding citizens and gun enthusiasts who want to buy a gun. Why should we have to wait 5 days? You know, if we need to go out and buy a gun for personal protection, if some lady has been threatened out here and she needs a gun, well, my gosh, she could be dead by the time she gets her firearm. It is absolutely ridiculous. And you know, friends, this is only the first step. This is only something they want to do to literally disarm us, the American population. Whether it's this Remington nylon 66 and 22 long rifle, or this AR-15, or this Ruger Super Blackhawk single action, or this Coonan 357 semi-automatic pistol. Friends, it doesn't make any difference. These people are dead set to take everything that the American population has that shoots. If you don't believe it, all you have to do is look at what has happened in some of the European countries back before World War II. Look what happened in Germany. Look what has happened in England, a number of other countries around the world. And what they're doing, literally, like a friend of mine said the other day, it's just like a chicken, Johnny. He said they're plucking us one feather at a time. And that's true. Friends, that's why it's so important that we reach as many people as possible across the country. And you know, you can help us. You can join the Shootin' Show Gun Club, and you can help us. If you have a gun club that wants to sponsor one of our fun gun days, well, please get in touch with us. We've already heard from several gun clubs. We're going to be doing this by regions, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to get people out of their houses with their firearms. We're going to get them down there. We're going to say, look, here's how these things work. Here's how they work safely. Here's why you need eye protection and ear protection. These things have to be said. We've got to reach those numbers of people that are on the fence and don't know just what to think about guns. A lot of people out there are thinking about buying guns. A lot of women especially are buying guns, not necessarily knowing how to use them. Well, that's why our program's here. Friends, it has got to be done. All of the defensive work we've done in the past, all the legislative work, which wonderful organizations like the NRA have worked so hard to do, is not enough. We've got to reach the American public, and we've got to tell these people if they're going to have guns in their home, if they're going to have guns around children, they've got to be responsible. There is no substitute for being responsible, absolutely. Well, friends, we have a great show for you, and let's start off here. I believe we have a watermelon over here. I think a lot of us would like to see just what a 125 grain 357 bullet, a jacketed hollow point, moving at about 1,600 feet per second out of our Coonan 357. Let's see what happens when we shoot it. You know, friends, there are 3 kinds of people. Those people that make things happen, those people who watch what happens, and then those other people that wonder what happened. Well, you know what? As gun owners, we need to be among those people that make things happen. Because, friends, let me tell you what. if we don't stand up for our rights, who's going to? See? Who's going to if we don't? So anyway, let's check our watermelon here. Let's see that again. That's a little more like it. Now friends, today we're going to be looking at 3 small guns. You know, there's a lot of interest in smaller handguns now because a lot of people are obtaining concealed carry permits. They're real handy. A lot of people are using them. Police officers, some other folks, security type people are using them as backup guns. So we're going to look at several small handguns today. In fact, you've seen all 3 of these on the show at different times, but we're going to feature or compare our Taurus PT908, which is, we have really come to respect this little gun. It really has turned in some impressive performances, both in velocity as well as accuracy, as we'll show you in just a minute. We're going to compare the PT908 to a similar size gun, our Wesson 2-inch barreled, fixed barrel in fact, 357 Magnum. And again, a most impressive revolver, extremely high powered in a compact package, most impressive. And one other gun we're going to look at is the Firestar in 45 ACP chambering. Now what we've done is we have grouped these guns out at 25 yards, which is further than most of us ever anticipating shooting these small handguns. But we wanted to find out just what they'd do. We have 3 of the best examples of their particular type. All 3 of these guns, the workmanship is just excellent. It's been a while since we featured the Firestar, but this one is no disappointment whatsoever. It functions extremely well, a most comfortable to shoot gun, and you can tell it's almost the same size as our PT908 in 9mm. And of course, for that matter, the PT908 and the Wesson 357 Magnum with 2-inch or 2.5, whatever it is, inch barrel there are almost the same size guns. So what we have are 3 different directions of accomplishing the same concept. Someone who wants a smaller but powerful handgun, defensive type handgun. Well, all 3 of these guns are probably more than adequate for their intended purposes. So we're going to shoot them right now and let you look at them as far as in recoil. You know, with the 3 best chamberings or 3 best ammunition types for all 3 of these guns, they're very comparable in just what their capabilities are as far as being a defensive gun or a police type gun or whatever you want to do with it, even a trail gun or for smaller game. And I say smaller game, I'll tell you the truth, that 357 Magnum could do on some medium type game, I suppose, as could the 45 probably. But the 9mm is not to be discounted with the best ammunition available. See, that's what is so confusing to a lot of new shooters or people that are maybe not that familiar with guns, and heck, it's even confusing to those of us who work with them all the time. Because in the best ammunition types, there's not much difference in these 3 handguns. All of them function extremely well, and we'll show the accuracy and just what they've done in just a moment. Well, meanwhile, let's go ahead and put my hearing protection in a little bit better, and let's shoot the guns and let you watch them in recoil in my hands anyway. All right, to chamber, none of these guns except for the revolver are loaded. To chamber, pull that slide all the way to the back and let it go, and we'll drop the hammer there with the decocking lever. So let's shoot this gun several times. We'll shoot all 3 of them and let you look at them in my hands and see what you think. We'll put the hammer down. Really not bad. High-powered ammunition with an aluminum frame gun in the case of this 908, but recoil is really not that bad. It's easy to shoot well. Now then, let's take our 357, and yes, it is loaded. We had how about a 140 grain Sierra bullet, a good stout full charge 357 Magnum loading. So let's take a look at it now. Again, severe noise, and certainly more recoil than the other 2 guns. but it's not that objectionable. The engineering on this gun is most outstanding, if you ask me. And now let's shoot our 45. Load our chamber, pull that slide all the way to the rear, and let it go. Let it work with itself there. So we're shooting loads, again, that you would normally carry in the gun, full power loads. We're shooting hydroshocks in the 45 ACP. So let's see what it does here. Definitely some recoil, more so probably than the 9, but it and the 357 probably split the difference. Both of them, in fact, of the 3 guns, the Firestar and 45 ACP is probably going to be the heaviest one. It weighs about 35 ounces versus probably about 30 or so ounces. I stand to be corrected. I don't remember what the figures, but the 357 is fairly light. And then your Taurus PT908 comes in at about 30 or so ounces. So the 3 of them are so comparable. Well, let's take a look now and see what they did on paper. Now, friends, earlier in the day, we went ahead and took our sandbags on our range here, 25 yards, and we bench rested these guns, or in fact, we shot them off the sandbags for stability. And you know, there's been a lot of talk in the past about how these short guns, or some people call them belly guns, or snubbies, or whatever you want to say, but the smaller guns have not been taken by a lot of riders as serious firearms or as accurate firearms at the longer ranges. And I tell you what, friends, I think that there's some need for correction on that part, because as we'll see here when we look at these targets, these little guns shoot, in fact, better than some full-size models that I have seen. So first of all, let's take a look now at what our Wesson did with full charge 357 Magnum ammunition. Now, friends, as you can see, we shot a couple of groups because we had a couple of different loadings on hand, that either one of which I would carry in the gun. This one was shot with Winchester silver tips, which is one of my favorite loadings, and of course 4 of the rounds went into about 1.5 inches here, but the 5th one put it out here at 2.9 inches. Still not bad performance, especially for a short barrel revolver out at 25 yards. We'll look over here to a full charge hand load that I use. It's pretty darn hot. 1,200 feet per second out of this little gun at 140 grains of bullet weight, and it went into 2.7 inches. Now, that's just all we happen to have down here, and I would carry, and do carry, in fact, both of these loads in the gun. They're very effective for what I want the gun to do. So with others, different loadings, it may perform even better, but I thought this was pretty darn good, especially when you're talking about the full strength power of the 357 Magnum in such a small package. Now let's go over and look at the other targets. Now, friends, here we have our Firestar, the 45 ACP, and of course this was shot with the Federal Hydroshocks, which would be the load I would personally carry in this gun. There are some other real fine 45 ACP cartridge bullet combinations. That's fine, that's up to you, but this is one of the most popular rounds, and according to the actual figures, one of the most effective rounds in 45 ACP. And this gun went into 3.6 inches. I know it will do better than that because we were shooting with ball a day or so ago with a full metal jacket regular military ball, and it went into less than 3 inches. I believe it was about 2.5 in fact. But this is still, bear in mind, at 25 yards, see, that's still smaller than the palm of my hand at 75 feet. Again, excellent performance. This bullet, the Hydroshock, runs about 800 feet per second, even out of this short barrel. So it is impressive. Now let's see what our Taurus did. All right, friends, again, here's our PT908, and yes, we have double-checked these guns to be sure that they're unloaded. The Taurus really showed off. This is, we shot it with Corbon ammunition running a little better than 1,300 feet per second out of this small gun. Definitely full-size performance, if there ever was any, from a compact model gun. And you can tell here, 2.4 inches, I think, is terrific out at 25 yards with fixed sights. And you can tell we didn't move the sights on any of these guns. They would need to be regulated. Of course, they are fixed. And, on the 2 semi-automatics, you can move the rear sight, or in fact, since this one is low, we might have to adjust or file down, in fact, our front sight, or certainly allow for it, whatever we'd have to do. But again, very fine performance for what these guns are.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Now then, friends, we're going to do something that's been a very popular feature with a lot of our viewers on our program, because, you know, if you have a defensive handgun, you want to be concerned about how rapidly you can get it into action or how quickly you can use it on more than one target. And defensive, there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing wrong with talking about a defensive handgun, because you know what? One of these handguns could in fact save your life. And there's nothing you should be prouder of or be, trust me on this one, at the time if you needed it, there's nothing you'd be prouder to have than one of these handguns, believe me. Of course you might want a shotgun or a rifle, but trust me on this one, a handgun, by the very nature of what it is handy. You can carry it on a belt. There's so many things you can do with a handgun. One, it doesn't tie up both hands like a shotgun or a rifle. They definitely are among the most useful firearms in existence, certainly. Well, we've gotten our pro timer here, and what we're going to do, we're going to put 4 shots on 2 separate targets, and you've seen this drill before on the program. For those of you who are watching us for the first time, this is just an exercise in speed as far as what the average shooter out here, the reaction time or how long it takes to own more than one target up close and personal. And we have our timer here. It will start me on its own volition. I'll go ahead and turn it on, and then punch the button. It will tell me when to start, and it will stop on my last shot. So this will, of course, include my reaction time. And again, we're not going to draw the gun, because to have the gun out and in the ready position is faster than anybody's draw. So that's what we're going to do. We do not encourage the new shooter or the casual shooter to attempt any sort of fast draw. Let's don't worry about that. You know, we just need to prevent every kind of accident that we possibly can. We do not get into the mechanics of drawing on a fine scale until you're a little more advanced shooter, because the last thing in the world we want to happen to you, and you think about it, if you're at home and you have a burglar or someone's attacking you and you're trying to draw your gun, you shot yourself in the foot, you're in bigger trouble then than you were when you started. So if there's a problem and we're in our home, don't worry about that gun. Go ahead and get the gun out and put it down in a position like this, up kind of back close, and then you got your flashlight in your other hand. Of course I have a gun in my other hand, but this is position, that finger off that trigger into some sort of ready position there. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this now. We're going to take our PT-908, shoot the 2 targets for time, and let's get started here and just see what it looks like, how long it takes. And on this particular gun, I have the safety off. We're going to use the guns just like we were going to get them into action. So I've got my finger off the trigger, safety off, hammer down, just like a lot of us would carry this gun. First of all, of course, we're going to load our gun. Most essential, you need to have a loaded gun, then we'll decock it using the decocking lever there, /safety. So let's do this now. We'll punch our timer, get in the load ready position, and see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, it took 1.42 seconds, including my reaction time, for 4 shots, which is not too bad actually. Let's see. We have a hit here and here, pretty good hits. Both of these are in the circle. So 1.42 seconds with that little gun. So you know what comes now. We tape our targets. Remember, when you go down to the range and you have paper targets, be sure and take the tape along with you. Masking tape is very inexpensive, and it will let you know where you shot. You know, it's so simple. It's so simple, yet so many people don't do it. Just something like this, it has to be said. Not a bad group, not a bad time, in fact. In fact, we'll keep notes right over here. Our Taurus went 1.42 seconds. So that's something else I won't have to remember. All right, let's take our 357 Magnum, and we're about in the same spot. We're going to get in the low ready position, and we'll go ahead and punch our timer. Well, 1.56 seconds, again with full charge ammunition. Of course, I'm starting with my aiming point here, and I'm having to move to the right and then to the left and back and forth. So, somewhat of a surprise start, I suppose. But my groups were considerably better, 1.56 seconds. But my shots were considerably closer on the target there. Not too shabby, actually. Again, speaking as your average shooter, let's make a note of that. And Wesson, 1.56. And realize that our times may actually vary per gun because of my individual reaction time. I'll just be quicker one time than another, maybe a tenth of a second. So I was a little slower with the revolver. Of course, I had quite a bit more power, but still, neither one of them are bad. Let's go ahead and try it with our 45, our Firestar. Now then, load the gun, and what we're going to do is we'll put our hammer down. All right, friends, let's come back in with the same drill and the way I would personally carry this Firestar if it were me. Since we do not have a grip safety, you do have a firing pin lock. So personally, I probably, this is not my gun, but I probably would carry this one in the hammer down position, and instead of pushing the safety off on the first shot, I would reach up and thumb cock it. So that's how we're going to approach this. So let's see how long it takes. Again, we'll punch our timer, get in the low ready position in the center. Okay, still not bad hits, 1.61 seconds. So we'll make a note of that. So the three guns are within 2/10 of each other, at least in my hands. I hit better with the revolver. I was a little quicker with the 9mm, the Taurus 9mm, and I assumed that on my first shot was probably a little slower on the Firestar because I had to thumb cock it first. But still, we're not talking about much time here. Multiple targets, 4 shots on each one.
Awesome firepower. Precision rifle skills. That's what you'll find along with lots more in these 2 great new videos, Marine Corps Firepower and Marine Corps Silent Drill Team. See an actual firepower demonstration of the latest Marine Corps weapons of the infantry, including the M220 Echo Tow missile system, grenade launchers, mortars, and lots more. Plus the Marine Corps Silent Drill Team, an incredible display of precision rifle handling skills by the most respected and admired rifle squad in the world. 2 great new videos for one low price, just $19.95 through this special TV offer. Marine Corps Firepower and Marine Corps Silent Drill Team. 2 videos for the price of one. Call and order yours right now.
Call toll-free with your credit card ready, 1-800-942-8273. By ordering today, you'll receive this 32-page gun video catalog absolutely free. So order now, 1-800-942-8273. Call now.
Nobody hits them all. But practice before the season can turn a lot of those misses into hits. Hi, I'm Grits Gresham. So spend some time at the Trapper Skeet Range or out in the field with a portable trap. And for the guns, ammo, and gear you'll need, be sure to see the folks who will steer you right. See the real pro in your community.
Well, friends, we've taken a look at all 3 of these guns, and we've showed you at least the comparison we've done for today. And needless to say, they're all three very impressive handguns, the two semi-automatics and of course the .357 Magnum revolver. So if you like the Taurus PT-908 and 9mm, or you like the .357 Magnum Wesson, or even our Firestar 45 ACP. And friends, as you can see from our target there, rapid fire, any one of these three guns are more than accurate enough to do what they're designed to do, what you would want them to do. I tell you what, it just comes down to what your own personal choice is. But on any of these three guns, you certainly cannot go wrong.
Ready? Oh, beautiful! That is good. That's exactly where they're supposed to go. Don't take your time. Just hurry. Just bam, 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 bam. Right down the line. Just walk it down. Get every one of them. Right down the line.
You ever shot a gun before?
Yes.
How'd you feel about it? I mean, were you comfortable with it?
Not really. No. I was a little nervous about it.
A little intimidated, perhaps?
Yes. Yes, a little bit.
How do you think most ladies react to firearms?
I think they are intimidated by firearms and they're afraid of them. That's basically because they've never been taught how to use them.
Absolutely. Most of them are. As far as using it for self-defense, having a gun in the house. I have a gun in the house. I don't know how to use it. So it just sits in a closet. Hopefully I won't ever have to use it, but I don't know how.
Want to learn how to shoot a gun, feel comfortable with one, and then actually be able to hit something? Well, then this is what you've been looking for. In the next few minutes, Roger Dick will walk these ladies and you through what it takes to buy a gun, ammo, and then learn how to shoot. These two ladies had hardly ever handled any type of weapon. Yet after a couple of days, Roger Dick had them shooting dime-sized targets out of the air. That's right, I said dime-sized targets. Shooting BBs on the ground even. Then working up from BBs to the real thing. The first thing you'll need after viewing this is a BB gun, targets, and room to shoot.
Hi, my name is Roger Dick. I've been a firearms instructor for over 15 years. I've got 6 years in special operations instructions, 6 years with law enforcement instructions, and I've been a contract security agent for over 15 years. What we're going to show you in this tape is a very unique shooting method. It uses the basic skills that you already have, and we take them, we hone them to a razor-sharp edge. It's so effective that it's taught to the United States government special operations groups. The ease of it, a 12-year-old child can master the technique in about a day and a half. So come on right now, and let's begin some classes. The first thing we're going to have to be worried about will be our safety glasses. While shooting these targets in the air, the BBs have a tendency, if you're dead on target, which most of the time you are, to hit and bounce backwards. So we need some excellent safety glasses, preferably with polycarbonate lens to keep from shattering. Glasses sometimes will shatter and you can get some little shards back in your eye. Therefore we want real good shooting glasses, okay? All right, secondly, the second thing we want to do is to check master eyes. Take your glasses off for me. Take the washer, hold it out at a full arm's length. I want you to look dead through the center of the washer and put it right on the very tip of my nose. That way, looking through it, I can see you are ambidextrous. In other words, the washer sights me between your eyes. It should be a right master, left master, or ambidextrous means you can shoot equally well off the right or the left shoulder. Give it back to me. Now we'll try with Karen. Take your glasses off. Hold it out at full arm's length, keeping both eyes open, right on the very tip of my nose. Okay, I'm showing you as being ambidextrous. I look right back and I see right at the bridge of your nose, which means you can shoot equally well off either the right or the left shoulder.
We'll have more Instinct Shooting with Roger Dick after this station break for your local cable company or TV station. You know, friends, for the absolute best in monthly shooting magazines, turn to Shooting Times. They have all sorts of excellent features on handguns, rifles, shotguns, and black powder by some of your favorite gun writers. Each month you'll find interesting articles on guns, shooting, reloading, and new products in the firearms industry. That, along with information on pending legislation, certainly of interest to all gun owners. For subscription information, call 1-800-727-4353. 1-800-727-4353. Shooting Times, the best there is.
Okay, for proper and safe weapons handling, what we want to do is not play like the old cowboys in the old West, where you cock a BB gun like this, for several reasons. One, it's hard on your fingers. You scrape a lot of skin off. Second, unsafe. There might be someone around in the general area, and if you did have an accidental discharge, you could hit someone in the eye and put it out. So the way we want to do it is hold the weapon straight up, grab hold of the cocking lever, pull it all the way up until you hear it click. Being careful as you go back down to keep your fingers out of this area here so they don't get pinched. Let it lock, then you're ready to shoulder the weapon and you're ready for a shot. Okay?
All right.
Okay, now we're going to try and learn to throw some targets that we're going to be shooting at. Okay, the targets we're going to be using will be a 3-inch, a 2-inch, and a 1-inch disc. They're real easy to learn how to throw. Hold them in your index finger, keeping your wrist still. Don't try and flip your wrist. Hold your wrist steady and just let them roll off. As you start up, it creates a spin as it rolls off the tip of your finger and goes into the air and leaves itself a good flat trajectory, because you want your concentration on aerial targets to be on the top of your targets, like that. You want to try it?
Okay.
Okay, now let's get a little bit more height. Okay. Up a little higher. All right, Karen, let's have you try one. All right, very good. You'll need a little bit of practice. You got to nice and slow. Good. Now we want to get a little bit more height on it. You're actually going to need, you're not spinning, you're more or less throwing it up. You need a little spin on it, and you need a height of about 10 to 15 feet, about that height. Okay, starting off, I want you to do like we'd spoken before. Get yourself a comfortable position, feet slightly apart. Now when you handle the weapon, take it at ease. I want you coming straight up and weight just a little bit forward on that left leg. Everything nice and smooth. Let's give it a try. Okay, looks good. Okay, let's cock it and get ready to go. Okay, now starting right off, we're going to let you put the weapon up to your shoulder. Get yourself comfortable. Now what I'm going to do is throw this disc up into the air, and I'm going to present you with a flat target. I want your concentration right here on top of the target. Do not look at the middle, because you have no sights on the weapon. You're not even using it. So what we're going to do is look at the top, and you should hit dead center, okay?
I'm going to shoot it.
You're going to shoot it. When I throw it up, just at any time that you can bring, act like you're just going to reach out and pull the target out of the air. That's what you're after. But once you are up there and it's there, pull the trigger, okay?
How far should I shoot it?
At any time that you feel like you can.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. Okay? All right. Looky there. See? Looking right at that top. You're almost dead center. So you're actually shooting, looking maybe 1/8 of an inch down So you're that far below. So let's try it again. All right. Exactly. Doing good. Do it again.
Hit below.
Look below. What you're doing is looking at the middle of the target, and you'll be hitting below. Ah, good. Real good.
I saw it that time.
Right. Your first two shots were almost dead center, which tells me you were looking right in this area because they were so close. This one is down on the lower half. That tells me you're looking right about where this shot was, or almost the center of target. Once you start shooting the outer edges, you're concentrating on the center instead of the top. If you're on top, they'll all be in the center area.
Okay, now that Karen and Pat have mastered the 3-inch targets, it's time to make things a bit more difficult. 2-inch targets, and finally, 1-inch targets.
All of these will be aerial.
Now, just like Pat and Karen, once you've been able to hit 8 out of 10 3-inch targets, move to smaller ones. Then from 2-inch to 1-inch. And by the way, in case you noticed, Pat's now switched shoulders from the right to the left. If you remember, during the master eye testing, Roger discovered she was ambidextrous, and she wasn't doing well right-shouldered, so we switched her.
You've got your training in. You can hit the 3s, you can hit the 2s, you can hit the 1s. Now we're moving into real live weaponry. For hunting birds, shotgun is it. I'll be throwing these clay targets out for you. I want you to treat them just like the little 3, 2, and 1-inch targets that we're shooting. Get up top. When you're on it, just pull the trigger. When the bird comes up, all I want you to do is just pick the weapon up, lock on that bird, and nail it. Way to go. Good round. Oh, beautiful.
Now, friends, what we've been watching was just a short excerpt of the instinct shooting tape with Roger Dick. Now, you can buy this. Of course, it is much longer, and tell you what, this is one of the best instructional tapes that I've ever seen. And I know that a lot of you out there would like to learn Roger's technique. Now, you can write to them at Roger Dick, Post Office Box 1867, Kennesaw, Georgia. That zip code is 30144, or give them a call, area 404-422-2638. Again, this is a terrific tape. We're so pleased to meet Roger. He's a heck of a nice guy. And those of you out there who would like to learn instinct shooting, well, this would be an excellent tape to start with. Friends, we hope you're enjoying the program so far. In fact, I really enjoyed this piece with Roger Dick. He has so much instruction to give. Well, friends, let me tell you what. We need you, in fact, to join the Shoot and Show Gun Club. Now, this is one of the most exciting things that we've started since we've been doing the Shoot and Show, because we need to reach so many more people on a grassroots level. You know, I enjoy shooting this single-action Ruger. I enjoy shooting the semi-automatic rifles, the black powder guns, whatever else I can get that shoots. I certainly enjoy it, as most of you do also. The problem is, friends, there are people on local government levels, people in Washington, D.C., who literally want to take all these guns away from us. So what we're going to do through our Shoot and Show Gun Club, we're going to be traveling, holding seminars, holding fun gun days out there in many different locations in the country. We're going to get out and show people how these guns work, how to safely handle them, and how they should be treated around other people and certainly around children. Friends, we need your help. Of course, our Shoot and Show is going to be on 5 days a week now. Let me remind you, as we spoke about earlier in the show, we're also going to be on the Outdoor Channel on Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, Wednesday at 5, Saturday at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, and Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And of course, whatever time zone you're in, that time will vary slightly. The Outdoor Channel on the satellite is on F2, Channel 3. Now, we're going to continue our Thursday night broadcast, which all you satellite viewers are watching now, on G4 Channel 23. But this is a great thing. We're going to be able to reach so many more people. And friends, we've got a job to do. And you and I, as we said earlier, those people who make things happen, who watch what happened, and then those other people who wonder what happened. You know, Kurt and I were talking the other day about some things, and he mentioned to me that when dogs are trained by the military, the dog that continuously goes after the stick on the man that has it. The dog's supposed to be attacking the man with the stick, but if the dog continues to go after the stick, well, they consider the dog untrainable. Well, you know, that's the same situation with the people who are going after the gun. This is not a cause of crime. This, in fact, can prevent crime, and citizens using firearms every year prevent far more crimes than are ever prevented by police. And this is something that we have got to get our message out. Friends, we need you. You can join the Shootin' Show Gun Club. You can call us at 800-895-7916, or you can write to us, the Shootin' Show Gun Club, 554 Kings Highway, Shreveport, Louisiana. Our zip code is 71104. And there is a $25 annual membership fee, but those of you who are going to buy very much from the Bullet Express can literally get your money back in your discount. And we're going to be sending out a membership application with every Bullet Express that goes out now, or you can just call us for a membership application where we have our goals and our aims and an application. You can certainly do that. We do take Visa, we do take MasterCard, and we take checks, money orders, whatever you want to send. And friends, we offer so many different things that we're going to be doing. We have so many exciting things. If you have a gun club and would like to sponsor a fun gun day in your region or your area, please call us here at the Shootin' Show. We need to hear from you because we're going to be setting things up. Kurt and myself are going to be going around the country, and we're going to be working with people on a local as well as a regional level. Now, friends, we've got to take our fight to the grassroots. We've got to do this to the small cities and small towns and many other areas in the country because, you know what? These people are going to take our guns away if we don't get our message out to the American public and show them why we as gun owners want to shoot these guns, to own them, how we can be careful with them, how we can handle them properly. All these people on the fence have got to be talked to, and you can help by joining the Shootin' Show Gun Club. And now this week's feature with Art Alphin, in fact, Lieutenant Colonel retired Art Alphin, if I said that right, formerly of West Point, and now with the great A Square Company in Bedford, Kentucky. For more information on the tremendous products from A Square, call them at area 502-255-7456.
Throughout the 1600s, many attempts were made to improve upon the ignition of the matchlock. Some of these you might be familiar with, such as this wheel lock. Though very reliable, the wheel lock was slow to operate, expensive to manufacture, and difficult to maintain in the field. The wheel lock used hardened iron and a lump of iron pyrite in order to throw sparks and ignite the charge. This idea carried forward using hardened iron and a piece of flint and resulted in another weapon, the snaffons. After suitable modification, this evolved into the flintlock. Our sample today is a reproduction of a British Brown Bess and is quite representative of all flintlock smoothbore muskets. Though it may look a bit strange today, the flintlock was, for its day and age, quite simple and reliable. A hammer was mounted on the side of the weapon, powered by a spring and released by a trigger. This hammer had a set of screw jaws which held a piece of flint rigidly in place. At a point under the hammer's arc of travel, a touch hole was drilled to the interior of the barrel. Underneath this touch hole, a pan was mounted on the side of the weapon in which priming powder could be placed. On the forward edge of this pan, another spring-powered part, the frizzen, was mounted on a hinge. This frizzen served double duty. When the weapon was cocked, it covered the pan, keeping the priming powder in place. When the hammer was released and traveled forward, the flint struck the upper wing of the frizzen, causing sparks and knocking the frizzen forward. These sparks then fell into the pan, igniting the priming powder. As manufacturing and metallurgical skill increased, the weapons were made stronger. The shoulder-fired weapon decreased in weight to the point where a man could hold and fire it without use of the fork rest. Many methods of combining the pike with a firearm were tried, such as this plug bayonet. For obvious reasons, the plug bayonet was not entirely satisfactory. Within a few short years, however,
This had evolved into the socket bayonet, wherein a sleeve slipped over and locked onto the outside of the muzzle of the weapon.
We'll have more from Art Alphin in just a moment after this break for your local cable company or TV station. You know, friends, as shooting enthusiasts, all of us should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands of firearms bargains. Shotgun News, Post Office Box 669, Hastings, Nebraska. That zip code is 68902. Their phone number, area 402-463-4589. Now, MasterCard or Visa for subscriptions only. Call them at 1-800-345-6923.
These developments all came together in the flintlock smoothbore musket, which was in general issue by the early 1700s. The flintlock smoothbore was loaded from a paper cartridge. This is not a cartridge as you understand it today, but simply a paper envelope containing a pre-measured amount of powder and a leaden ball. The soldier drew the paper cartridge from his ammunition pouch and tore the cartridge in half by biting on the ball and wrenching the remainder of the paper away. He then poured a small amount of powder into the priming pan, closed the frizzen, and dropped the butt on the ground. The remainder of the powder was poured down the barrel and the paper discarded. He then took the leaden ball from his teeth and dropped it down the barrel, discarding any paper which remained. You should note that though the bore of the brown bass ran from 73 to 75 caliber, it fired a 69 caliber ball. All flintlock smoothbores used balls of similar undersized dimensions. This was done because black powder, a mixture of charcoal, saltpeter, and sulfur, left behind large quantities of fouling in the barrel. If the weapon was to be loaded after 4 or 5 shots, this gap between the ball and barrel had to exist or the ball could not be rammed home. After dropping the ball into the barrel, the soldier withdrew the ramrod, rammed the ball home, and returned the ramrod underneath the barrel. He then placed the weapon to his shoulder and pulled the trigger. You should also understand that the soldier did not aim. The sloppy fit between barrel and ball made the weapon hopelessly inaccurate. Aiming, therefore, was really of no consequence whatsoever. What you think is a front sight mounted on this weapon is in fact a bayonet lug. It couldn't be placed on the underside of the weapon because that's where the ramrod had to go. In use, the whole thing looked something like this. Our shooter has fired 5 shots in roughly 1 minute and 12 seconds. You can see how much fouling has been left behind on the weapon and on his hands with such relatively little firing. His target represented a formation of men. The inaccuracy of the weapon is readily obvious. The 5 hits from 7 shots total are circled in red. On our chart, however, the brown bass looks quite good. You will note that it has roughly the same range as the matchlock, and yet its volume of fire is easily triple that of the matchlock. Further, the chart does not tell the whole story. With the bayonet affixed to this weapon, there was no longer a need for the pike. Now every man could be issued a musket, and every man could fire. The changes wrought by the emphasis on gunfire were immense. Gone were the tercios of the Spanish and the brigades of the Swedish. Instead, the line formation was instituted. Depending upon the nation involved, this varied from 2 to 5 ranks deep and generally employed volley fire by platoon or by rank. Though the line formation does allow every man to fire his weapon, it is unwieldy. This created a need for drill. The musket's rate of fire depended upon its mechanical manipulation by the soldier. This created still more need for drill. You should also remember that the weapon had to be fired from a standing position, and that most of the time the soldier was working on loading the musket, not on firing it. Since he was 60 yards or less from the enemy, the volleys that came crashing into his ranks killed or wounded many of those about him. The only way to keep the soldier efficiently at his task of loading and firing the musket was to emphasize discipline and drill above all other soldierly qualities. The smoothbore musket and line formation evolved into what we call linear warfare. It was carried to its height by Frederick the Great. In addition to instituting a rigidity in drill and discipline which no other army could match, Frederick also introduced the iron ramrod. Unlike the normal wooden ramrod of the day, the iron ramrod could be plied vigorously, regardless of how fouled the barrel became. In Frederick's army, rates of fire frequently reached 5 rounds per minute, and his battalions took on the nickname of walking batteries. A good example of the effect of this volume of fire is the Battle of Minden in 1759. In this battle, the Prussians, with their Hanoverian and British allies, literally blew the French cavalry off the field with a storm of lead. Cavalry never again formed up on the main line of battle. Despite this emphasis on fire, one cannot ignore the bayonet. Even 5 rounds a minute could not always prevent enemy infantry or cavalry from reaching your position. But the bayonet could stop the horses of the cavalry, and when the enemy was demoralized by the untiring fury of the crashing volleys, he could frequently be pushed from the field by the judicious application of the bayonet. Though it may look crude today, the flintlock smoothbore musket was a vast improvement over anything that had gone before. When complemented with the organization, the drill, the tactics, the drill, the discipline, and the incessant, mind-numbing drill of linear warfare, the flintlock smoothbore and the bayonet were extremely effective weapons.
Well, I know you all certainly enjoyed Art's piece there on the black powder guns. Well, friends, here it is. Here's the black box, the proverbial black box, and no, I can't tell you what's in it. But, however, if you call us on the phone at 800-895-7916, we can tell you. In fact, we can give you all kinds of information about the security products that are in the black box. And we've heard from so many people that have found out and have gotten things, some of our security products, and they are so pleased with it. So that's something we certainly want to encourage you to do today. We'll have someone get back with you just immediately. And speaking of getting back with you, our membership cards for the Shootin' Show Gun Club are going out this week. One other thing I want to show you, this particular item right here. Friends, this is one of the neatest things I have seen in some time. This is what you call a barking dog. No, it doesn't look like a dog, but let me show you. I'm going to plug it in and listen to this. Well, what happens, it will be about 50 seconds or so or a minute, and it's going to arm itself. And what you do, you turn this thing on when you leave your home, and when someone makes a sharp noise, they rap on the door or rap on a window or something, or make any kind of sharp noise, or break a door open or break a window, this thing will start barking. And it's really neat. You know, somebody who's outside your home would not know if there's a dog inside or not. I mean, heck, they don't know. And only you know for sure, like those ladies' hair color years ago, only the hairdresser knew for sure in this case. Yeah, right. Quiet down there, fella. Anyway, this thing is adjustable, and it gets real loud. Now, this is no joke. This thing actually does work. A good friend of ours up in North Carolina, I believe, sent this down to us, and we're going to sell it through the Bullet Express. You can buy this. It's $69.95, and this is a great addition, I think, to someone's security, because nobody wants to go in when they're going to get dog bitten. And again, somebody outside your house doesn't know if there's a dog or not. I can think of all kinds of uses for a shop of any kind, a mechanic, whatever you may have that you want to protect. This barking dog is a good idea. So you can order the barking dog from the Bullet Express, $69.95. And of course, that number is 1-800-895-7916. And incidentally, while we're talking about phone numbers, we have on the Outdoor Channel, and this is important, if you can inform your cable company that we're going to be on 4 more times a week on the Outdoor Channel. That number is 800-551-9707. If you're with a cable company or a TV station, you can call for information about getting the Outdoor Channel. They have a lot of very fine programs, from hunting shows, fishing shows, of course the shooting show, but they have a lot of things that you're really going to find enjoyable. So please call your cable company and ask them to start carrying the Outdoor Channel. I think it'll be something that you and they really do enjoy. Well, friends, this happened again. We have run out of time, and Kurt and myself really want to extend our appreciation for all those people that have already joined the Shootin' Show Gun Club. We need you. So please, if you're a gun club out there, please let us hear from you. We need to sponsor a fun gun day in your area. Absolutely. So until next week, we'll look forward to seeing you on another Shootin' Show.